Hi guys, it's Heidi, and this is my April wrap-up. So this month, I'm kind of proud of myself. I read 10 things, and let's just jump right into them. The first thing I read this month was I Am Not a Serial Killer by Dan Wells. And this is a book about a teenage boy named John Cleaver, and he thinks the universe wants him to be a serial killer. And this is him trying not to be a serial killer. He doesn't want to be, but he thinks he's destined to be. I really enjoyed this book. This is the first book in a series, and I gave this book 5 stars. The ending really had me at the edge of my seat, and I couldn't put it down, and I stayed up way too late reading it. I really, really enjoyed this one. The second book I read this month was book 2 in the John Cleaver series, and I don't have a copy with me, but it's called Mr. Monster. And this one was good also, but I didn't like it as much. I like where the series is going, and I like the flow of it and the main character and everything. But this one was way too torture graphic for me. And it really surprised me how I reacted to this. Usually I don't have a problem with sociopaths and serial killers and everything like that. I actually love an anti-hero, and the creepier the better. But the graphic torture scenes were really too much for me, and I don't think I will be continuing on in the series. I don't know, maybe some other time, but I gave that one a 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read, I had actually read half of it and put it down last month, and then I came back and I read the second half this month, and that is The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I knew going into this one that I probably wouldn't like this one. This is a YA, magical realism, kind of urban fantasy, including, it's got demons, demon hunters, and our main character finds out that she is part of this magical world, and she's got to deal with her mom missing and solve the mystery and all that sort of stuff. I really didn't like it. It is so popular on BookTube, and I really wanted to like it. There are so many follow-up novels. There are 2 spin-off series. But the first, 3/4 of this book, I had to really push myself to finish, to read. The only redeeming thing about this book was the ending, and I really didn't see it coming. Maybe I should have. But it shocked me, and it was intriguing, and I loved it, and I couldn't put it down. So I will be continuing on in the series. But that being said, I did give this book a 2 out of 5 stars. The next 2 books that I read are actually book 1 and 2 in a duology, and that is Proxy and Guardian, and these are by Alex London. And this is a series about a boy named Sid, and he lives in a world where most of the planet is desolate and uninhabitable, but the city that he lives in has really advanced technology, and for a select few, life is good. But for the most part, for the most of the population, it's not so good. And Sid is one of those unlucky ones. He's in debt, and his debt was bought by a wealthy family who use him as a proxy. So when their rich son gets in trouble, Sid is the one who gets the punishment. And this series, I liked it. I had to kind of push myself for the first maybe 2/3 of this one. Maybe, yeah, about the same in both of them. I really had to push myself in the beginning, but the endings really got me, and maybe that's a recurring theme this month. Maybe it's just YA. I don't know. I really like the main character. The second one I didn't like as much, except for the ending, and it was amazing, and it gave me feels, and I cried. But I gave each of these 3 stars. The next book I read was The Coldest Girl in Coldtown by Holley Black. And this is a book about a teenage girl who goes to a party and wakes up and everyone's dead except for her and one other person. And there are vampires in this world, scary vampires who eat people. And if you get bit by a vampire but you don't die, you are infected and you could turn into a vampire. So you are generally quarantined, and you go to a Coldtown. And this book was really good. I really enjoyed this one. This had one of the best female lead characters that I've read in a really long time, and that was really refreshing. This did have a little bit of a romance story, but it really wasn't the main point of the story. The main character really had strong feelings for her sister and wanted to protect her sister, and that was more important than the romance, I think. I really enjoyed this one. I gave this a 4-star. And then the book I was waiting for, and I had such a hard time finding it at my local bookstores and the library, and I really didn't want to have to buy it full price, but I found it on Book Outlet, and I'm so excited. That's You by Caroline Kepnes. I was looking forward to this so much. I love a good anti-hero, and I love a sociopath, and this one has a stalker in it, and it's actually told from the perspective of the stalker. His name is Joe, and one day a woman walks into his bookstore, and he has this instant connection, and he wants to be with her, and he thinks that they are destined to be together, and he does everything he can to put himself in her life and make her love him. And it was amazing, and it was creepy, and it was everything I wanted it to be. So I gave this one 4 stars. There is a sequel, and I hear that it's really not as good. It's not told from Joe's perspective, and so the flow of it is different. I'm not sure if I'll pick that one up, but it's definitely not high on my priority list. The next book I picked up was The First 15 Lives of Harry August, and I really, really, really wanted to like this book. I really did. I've been looking forward to reading this for a really long time, but I actually DNF'd this book. I got, let's see, I don't know if you can see. I got about 120 pages into this, and I just couldn't push myself to do it anymore. The writing style was difficult for me, I think. I think it was the writing style. This is about a man who lives, he dies, he's reborn, he lives again. And in his 12th reincarnation or life or whatever you want to call it, he's told that the world is ending, and it's his job to figure out why. And the premise sounds amazing, but the fact that every chapter is told from a different life of his, and really all of his different lives are the other characters in the story, and it's not fast enough. Like, I want to know why the world is ending. I don't want to hear about your third life when you went to Africa and were a doctor or what. Like, too much character development, I think. It's really unfortunate. I think I might pick this up at a later time when I'm in the mood for a slower paced book, but right now, DNF'd it. I really beat myself up about that one. I really wanted to like that one, and I felt really bad for not finishing it. So I was in a bit of a funk after that one, and I picked up something really short that I knew I could finish, and that was a graphic novel. And this one is Shutter Island by Christian Demeter, and I really like the art in this one. This has a nice, I'm not sure if you can see, a nice kind of 50s sepia vibe going on. I really liked this one, and when I finished with it, I realized that I have not read enough graphic novels. So I need to change that. And I am going to be picking up a lot of graphic novels in the future, I think, because I really enjoyed this one. This is a story about 2 federal marshals who are called out to an island because there was an escaped prisoner, a criminally insane prisoner, and they have to solve the mystery. And I really enjoyed this one. I gave this 3 stars. The last book, well, not the last one, but a book that I haven't quite finished yet, I'm still working on, That is The Program, not sure if you can see that, by Suzanne Young, and I am nearly finished. But today is May 1st, and I will be finishing it in May. So I will talk about it more in my May wrap-up. The last book I finished this month was actually a children's novel that I was reading to my children. That was James and the Giant Peach. And I really enjoyed this. We've been working through some classics lately, and I have not read James and the Giant Peach before, and I liked it. It was a lot more fantastic than I thought it was going to be, about a giant peach and giant insects and their adventure with this boy. I really enjoyed it. I gave it